Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of This Studio. My name is Adam. You guys asked for it. I'm going to deliver. This is the Colin Curry series from Marimba One. Now, of course, before I start, I'd like to acknowledge my studio VIPs. We have Carl Spence and a new studio VIP, Luke Uyemura. Welcome to the family, Luke, and thank you for your support, guys. And our featured studio artist for today is Mimi Jin. Thanks for supporting Mimi. If you'd like to support this show and be a studio VIP or studio artist, you can go onto patreon.com/AdamTan, or you can click in the description below. And of course, for this video, there is one more person to thank, and I wonder who that could be. All right, everyone got your hands ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. I, Adam Tan of The Studio Show, pledge allegiance and my heart to the one, the only, Ron Marimba One Samuels, founder, creator, and CEO of Marimba One. Ron Samuels! What I meant to say was thank you so much to Marimba One for sending me the Colin Curries to review, because as of this episode, I have reviewed every single Marimba One mallet series on the show. So thank you, Ron, thank you, Marimba One, for supporting these videos since the beginning. I really appreciate it. Colin Curry is one of the most well-known Scottish solo percussionists. He's an absolute beast on pretty much any instrument. He's premiered lots of works. And I also found out that he's a really good runner. I love running as well, so respect. But Colin Curry is known for being an absolute beastly player. He's one of the signature artists of Marimba One's artist lineup. And I think it's pretty funny that I haven't reviewed his mallet series until now. Now, these are the Colin Curry mallets. And just like the Lin Vartan mallets, there are only 4 models, so it's not a very big lineup, which is good. It means you can actually afford to buy the entire series one day. And one thing I immediately noticed about these mallets is that 3 of the pairs are very traditional looking, just very standard bullet shaped mallets. And the 4th mallet, the one, is rubber. Like, it's literally just a pair of rubber mallets, which I think is really cool, but it's just funny how it's completely different to these 3. These mallets are not that expensive. They're towards the low end of the mid-range of mallets. Like, for example, the marimba mallets in this lineup, which are the 2, 3, and 4, the traditional looking marimba mallets, they are only $54.95, which is pretty standard for like a mid-range mallet. And then these rubber mallets, because they're rubber mallets, it would be kind of unfair if they were also $54.95. So they're only $38.95. So not too expensive, definitely somewhere in the mid-range. So I'll be very interested to see how these perform. The model lineup is very, very simple. They all start with CC, which is Colin Curry, obviously, and then B for Birch or R for Rattan, so you can get both. I had a bit of a giggle when I saw the name of the mallets because it's CCB. I'm so childish, I'm so sorry. Anyway, the lineup goes like this. CCB4, which is this pink one, which is soft. CCB3, this blue mallet, which is medium. And CCB2, which is this green color, which is hard. And of course we have the CCB1, which I think is the outlier in the pack. It's a rubber-headed mallet, and it's very hard. You could even use this as a multi-percussion mallet, like those bolted green rubber mallets that a lot of people tend to use. This is pretty similar. But yeah, definitely a very fitting mallet series for someone who is a dedicated solo percussionist like Colin Curry. Very cool. Now I'm going to go through every single element of these mallets, starting with the build quality. And of course, just like all Marimba One reviews, I say, dat head. Of course, with the double wrapped pattern, and all of the mallets have black somewhere, like we have the black rubber mallets, and then all of the yarn mallets have black yarn in them, and I really like that color. Looks really cool. As I mentioned earlier, this is more of a traditional shaped, bullet shaped mallet, so it's not really oblong. It's not fat like the wave wraps. It's not diamond shaped like the Katazine and Mishkas. It's just like your everyday sort of common mallet shape, which I think is a great thing. I imagine that this is going to be more of an articulate sound because the head is actually quite small, and this is the soft mallet. If we look at all 3 yarn mallets, they're all pretty similar. All very small heads, and usually with heads like this, I always think the yarn is going to be a little bit loose, but the studio squeeze test proves otherwise. See? No give, no flex whatsoever.
Excuse me?
These look like they'll be very robust mallets. Looking at the shaft, it also happens to have one of the best engraving jobs I've ever seen. Look how dark that text is, it's awesome. Really love that lowercase Colin Curry font. Again, these are details that no one except me would care about, but I just think it's really, really cool. And then moving to the bottom of the shaft, this shaft is slightly more pointed, but again, it is smooth. Smooth ends. friends. I really don't have anything bad to say about this shaft. It's awesome. And then we come to the CCB1, which is this rubber mallet. I really like this mushroom shape. I like that it's not a spherical head and it's more like half a circle. I don't know what you would call that, but like a semicircle, I guess. There's sort of like an O-ring sort of seal underneath this head, which means that it's really not going to go anywhere. Like I'm pulling it pretty hard and it's clicking a little bit. Hear that? I feel like if I pull this really hard, it's still not going to go anywhere. Yep, it's not going anywhere. Really nice rubber mallets. So in terms of build quality, these mallets seem like they will last for quite a while. Now in terms of ergonomics, these mallets are slightly weighted. They are definitely slightly heavier than 50/50, but that puts them in the lighter side of Marimba One mallets. I might go as far to say as these mallets are the lightest of all the Marimba One mallets. And that's partly due to that small head, but I feel like they've put some weight inside the head because a head this small shouldn't feel like this. But what that might mean is that you can get more sound with smaller heads. So if you really want that articulate small head sound, but you also want the weight, this is really good. Now I always like to test the difference between the hardest mallet and the softest mallet in the Marimba mallets just to see whether it's feasible to graduate them. And the weight difference is not too bad. Like the soft mallet is definitely a little bit heavier, but it's still pretty close. In terms of the weight profile feel, I feel like they all match pretty well, so not bad. The 3s and 2s definitely have a very similar weight profile. The 3 is a very nice middle ground between the 4 and the 2. So you're gonna get a graduated setup that actually graduates really well. But as for the 1s, they're actually unexpectedly heavy. Even though they're the hardest mallet in the series, they're not like, woo, super light. I mean, I wouldn't put this in a graduated setup anyway because it's a rubber mallet and it sounds so different. And for that, they seem like they have a lot of feel because of that extra little weight on the end of the stick. I really like that. And they don't feel excessively long like some of the Bolton mallets that I have that are a little bit too long for this sort of stuff. I think this is really, really nice. And then we get to the sound. I'll let you listen to the sound test first and you can tell me what you think in the comments below. But yeah, I might have accidentally played Shooting Stars. Let's do it. Thanks for listening to the sound test. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the Colin Curries. I personally think the Colin Curries are more of an articulate mallet sound. I think they're very good for sort of orchestral percussion, two-mallet percussion, more contemporary pieces that are more like chop heavy. They don't have as much bounce as more tightly wound yarn heavy mallets like the wave wraps, stuff like that. It's definitely more of a traditional standard mallet that has a very clear sound. But yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something that is clear cut. Just remember that there is no graduated set available for these mallets, so if you do want to graduate them, you'll have to buy all of the pairs, which is kind of sad, but this is the world we live in. If you enjoyed watching this video, please click that thumbs up button below. I would really appreciate that. And leave me a comment below if you have any suggestions or anything you want to say about these mallets or anything you want to see on the show. I would really love to hear from you guys. If you guys want to get a Studio Family hoodie, then just click the link in the description below, or you can click up here. I would really appreciate it if you snapped up one of these hoodies because it's actually really comfortable. But more importantly, you'll be supporting this show, which by the way has just reached 1,600 subscribers. Whoa! 1,600 subscribers. I did not think that we were gonna go up so fast. Like, I used to be getting 100 subscribers every 2 weeks, if you guys remember in the earlier episodes. Thank you so much for your support, and if you haven't already, please click that red subscribe button below to keep up with my uploads. I upload every week, and if you've been following my Facebook page, you'll know that I was sick for the last few days, which is why I couldn't upload this episode sooner. Sorry about that, but I'm better now, so... But again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another episode of The Studio. Good night.